Today we're here again with another global Stampin' Up vlog hop, creating projects from items that are either new or carrying over into the annual catalogue that is launching on the 4th of May. So let's get down onto the craft table and let's get creative. For my video today, I'm using the Quiet Meadow Bundle with the stamp set and a set of dies. So I've mounted mine onto magnetic sheets to make it easier, and there's 13 in this set. We will be using this one, and I have already die cut some of the images. So I'm starting with a piece of basic black cardstock, and I'm going to cut it in half across this way. So along the long side, I will be cutting this at 14.85 here in the UK. If you are in imperial measurements, you'll need to cut at 5.5 inches. I'm then going to turn and score at 10.5 centimetres or 4.25 inches if you're in the States. That will fold into a standard size card, and then the other piece of card I'm going to cut at the 10.5 to make a panel. You can discard this piece, and there we have one flat panel. I'm going to open this out and I'm going to score this again at half of this length here. So here, half of 10.5, I'm going to score this at 5.25, so 2.5 mils again. Okay, I've added a piece of grid paper here so that you can see where I am working with black card on a black surface. I'm making an easel fold card, so this piece here I've burnished along there again, and then this piece will sit on the top for my easel. I've done it landscape. It's unusual for me. I don't normally do the easel cards landscape, but I wanted to do slightly different today. So I'm putting adhesive on that lower portion, and I'm going to add my cardstock to cover that. Okay, and it should match the size of your card all round. Just going to run the bone folder over there to press it down firmly. And then there is my card. And it will fold flat for posting and raise again. We will put a stopper on here. So that's my first piece done. Next, I've taken a piece of Designer Series paper from the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper pack. Now there's some lovely pansy images in here, so to look forward to. I have pre-cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measures 14.3 by 10 centimetres, and I'm going to attach that onto my card. Next, I've taken my piece of gingham paper from the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper, and I'm going to attach that one. So there's my easel. Now I need to put a block in here. So I'm going to cut a piece of Whisper White again at 14.3 centimetres by 4.5 centimetres. And I'm going to attach a piece that is half a centimetre smaller than that. So that'll be the 13.8 by 4 centimetres. And this will be attached to the inside of my card here, leaving the same border all around the edges. So there is my easel taking shape. So now I'm going to work on the layer that I'm going to put in the middle here. Now I'm going to be using a piece of our basic white cardstock. I'm using 3 of our new in colours, and I'm using Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. I'm going going to start by using my polished pink, and I'm going to be making a sunset effect. So I wanted a pink top. So I'm going to dab my blending brush onto the ink pad and work off so that's not really strong at the top. I'm going to build up the layers. If you go straight in, you will get a really dark effect. So that's my polished pink finished with. Next I'm going to take my soft succulent. Now I tend to use one blending brush per colour, as long as they're in the same hues. So I'm going to use this for both the soft succulent and for the darker finish at the bottom. So this is kind of where the grass would appear along the bottom of my panel. Okay, that's enough for that layer at the moment. And then I'm going to put the Evening Evergreen along the bottom to give it a darker tone. So it's the same kind of shade. It's just building up that depth of colour along the bottom. So that's my evergreen finished with. And there is my sunset sort of effect. I'm going to turn my paper over. So there is my layer. Now that I've turned my grid paper over, I can tell the inches are 4 1/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And my matte layer is going to be in basic black, which will measure 3 inches by 4 1/2 inches. Or 11.5 by 7.5 centimetres, and this was 11 by 7, so 1/2 centimetre or 1/4 of an inch smaller. Now you can size that to whatever size you would like that to be. So I'm going to stick these two together. And that will be going on there, like so. But before we do that, I need to take some die cut images. So I've pre-cut 3 of the dies from these, the grasses in here, and the small ladybird, the half ladybird. So bring those pieces over. Now I'm going to take my snips, and I want to concentrate on this piece first. I'm going to snip out the depth of my card here. I'm actually going to snip out that section. There's a natural break in there, and I'm going to snip that piece away, and also it's attached just on one leaf there. So I'm going to snip that one away. So there is my branch, and here is another piece of foliage. So I can actually use this 2 ways, but because I'm working on a smaller area, I'm going to arrange these where I'd like them. And this one here, it's like silhouettes.
It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love. You can bet it doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it show. One card at a time can really change the way we live. Focused on the sharing and the chance we have to give. You can do most anything, so just do what you love.
So there we have those images all stuck down, and I'm just going to turn this over and trim off those tiny pieces along the bottom. So I'm going to lay this on here with some Stampin' Dimensionals, but I have a piece of ribbon I'd like to add along the back here, just so that pokes out the ends, very slightly, just to give it some depth. So I'm going to place this on here. So I've removed my image and I'm going to lay the tweezers on the row that I'd like to put some tape on, so I know where to place it. With that, so now I can press that down. The beauty of ribbon is that you can pick that up and remove it if you need to when you use tear and tape. Never use a wet adhesive for ribbon. So I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to the reverse, and today I'm using, because I'm using black card, I'm using our black dimensionals. And place that in the centre. My butterfly is going to sit on one of the images, but I'd like that to be raised. So I'm using my mini Stampin' Dimensionals, again in black. They actually come as a combo pack. So you get some large and some small in the same packet. I'm just going to make him look as though he's landing on that flower. And I'm going to put 2 sentiments on here. I'm going to use the banner from the Quiet Meadow Bundle. And I'm going to do this in black with some heat embossing. So I'll take a piece of scrap card and my embossing buddy, my white embossing powder and my Versamark. So Stampin' Up no longer sell the dust buddies, but this is just some powder in here. You can use a talc in a sock or something very, very fine. It's just to remove any stickiness, residue from the natural oil in our hands. So then I'm going to take the sentiment. I'm using Thinking of You, which is also from the Quiet Meadow stamp set. And I'm going to stamp this in the centre here. That's then going to get covered with some white embossing powder. So I have another grid sheet here I keep for the white. So I'm just going to place that on there. I have got some lines along there, so that stamp is obviously rocked slightly. But I have a trick to show you with that. I'm going to tip the powders back into the pot so that they're secure. Sometimes I use a small paintbrush. However, if you have our Take Your Pick tool with the putty end, this is quite handy for picking up those dry pieces of powder. Obviously it will use up your putty, it'll make it non-tacky. So just take a fresh piece and just pick up those pieces. There we go. So now I have my heat gun here, my Stampin' Up heat tool, and I'm going to melt that powder. And that's all nice and shiny, so that's ready to cut. So I will pass this through my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and just cut that as it is, and then repeat with our second sentiment. We're going to be using a happy birthday, so Thinking of You, happy birthday. And here are our 2 pieces. So I shall bring my card back again, just working out as to which way I'd like to do these. Thinking of You, happy birthday, Thinking of You, or Thinking of You, happy birthday. I think I'll do it this way. And again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals in black.
It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love.
So we're nearly finished. We have the sentiment on the inside, thinking of you, happy birthday. And I'm just going to tuck another piece of our ribbon just through one of these little holes on here. I'm going to taper the edge to a point. It makes it easier to thread through a hole. Okay, and tweezers help as well. Just to pull that through very gently. And I'm just going to tie it in a small knot. I don't want to tear the shape of the holes on there.
To love, live, and share it today. To love, live, and share it today. Just look around and you can see it's so much more than stamps and ink.
Okay, so that's just another little, just to tie in with the pieces on the ends. Now I want to colour some of my rhinestone gems. So I'm bringing on my rhinestones here. And I'm going to bring on a couple of my blends in the new shades, which are the dark polished pink and the dark evening evergreen. I'm going to colour 2 of the gems in the evergreen, just gently so you don't ruin the nib of your pen, and then 2 in the polished pink. We're rolling away. Using the stamping blends, you can colour your gems or your pearls, any embellishments to the colour that you wish. So apologies there, my camera just cut out abruptly. So I had coloured the gems using the Stampin' Blends new in colours in polished pink and evening evergreen, and I've stuck those to the 4 corners. So 2 of the polished pink at the top and 2 evergreen at the bottom. Okay, and there is our finished card. So we've got a nice easel. We can view that easel like so. Thinking of you, happy birthday. So there is my finished easel card using the Quiet Meadow Bundle from the new Annual Catalogue 2021. It folds flat for posting and then raises up again onto the stop here for display. I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial today. Please click and subscribe to my channel on the button below. If you ring the bell too, you'll be notified of all my videos as I release them. My contact details will be at the end of this video, and also I'll pop them in the description below. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you here again soon. Bye for now.